You're now tuning into the Who and How Club with your host, Arys Dejan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Who and How Club. It's your boy and your host, Arys Dejan. I am checking in with you on Wednesday, August 12th. Holy smokes. 12 days into the new month. First off, I want to send a special shout out to my little sister, Safira. Her birthday just passed on August 9th. She is a Leo. So we've had some Taurus-Leo battles over the years, but that's my little sister, and I love her to death. But you know, that sibling rivalry, that animal rivalry, we butt heads, but we also pick each other's brains and stuff like that. She's a very smart individual, and I just want to shout her out and send her a special shout out because she's so smart and because she's strong and because she's a woman, and she's still killing it in life. And she deserves this shout out. So shout out to Safi. That's what I call her for short. She just celebrated. But because of COVID, I mean, we're still in this COVID phase, but we're kind of, we're in stage 3. And I don't really know what that represents. But I do see a lot of things changing. People are being able to come out. Restaurants are allowing people to sit inside and eat. But you know, there are limits to that. So we couldn't really celebrate Safi's birthday full force. But I'm actually thinking about bringing her onto the show and having sort of like a sibling episode. You know, I want to introduce you guys and girls to my family more in depth. I know on Mother's Day we did an episode and we had a few family members of mine. I called them to wish them happy Mother's Day and all that jazz. Some of my cousins, my aunt as well, my grandma as well. But it'd be nice to touch base with my siblings and bring them on the show. For those who don't know, I have 2 sisters, one younger sister, baby sister, Larissa, and I got Safira as well. So I'm the big brother. Either way, welcome to the show. Welcome back, in fact. Just to preface, my headphones, so I was ready to record. And the headphones that I usually use, my Beats by Dre, are not by Dre anymore, Beats by Apple. I was so excited. I was getting amped up and everything. I turn on my headphones and they're dead. And I'm so amped to record today's episode. I said, you know what? I'm not going to wait for them to charge. I just pulled out these Sony headphones from the side here that I never use. Things kind of sound a bit distorted in my ears. So I'm hoping that when you guys listen back to this, it doesn't sound, messed up or anything like that. I hope the audio comes out clearer because I'm not sure if what I'm hearing at the moment is what it really sounds like. You know what I mean? There's a bit of a distortion. I think it's just the headphones, though, not the mic or anything. But they're also a bit low. Usually when I have my beats on, like I'm just in that zone and I feel it's kind of like putting on a costume. Like those are my lucky headphones that I do everything with. I record music with those headphones. I do the podcast with those headphones. And they're all black, like that matte black. So I have another pair of Beats, but I don't use those. Those are usually for the guests. So if you've seen some of the visual episodes to the podcast, you would see my black Beats. So today I'm using these Sonys. Hopefully the audio comes out great. But if not, we'll still roll with the punches and see what we do for next episode, right? This is episode 29. God, we're moving fast. I never thought that I would get to episode 29, to be honest. Not that I doubted myself or anything, but it's just you don't think that you're gonna, attain to such a, get to that level, get to that goal. And I know maybe you're listening and you're like, oh, it's just 29 episodes. But for me, I've come a long way with this show. For those who do know, and for those who don't know, you know what I'm saying? So if you want to get to know more about who I am as a person, as a host, what the Who and How Club represents for me and what it should mean for you, I would say revisit the previous 28 episodes and just get to know what the vibe is like on this show. Because for those who are just tuning in, I mean, the title says it all. We are the Who and How Club. I am the Who and How Club. So are you. And we are the Who's and How's of the world. So on this show, I focus on who you are and how you became who you are. I also focus on that for myself so that you guys could get to know me. And I'm sure if you go back to episode 1, even the promo episode before episode 1, you'll be able to see the growth of me as just Arys Dejan and as your host. So yeah, I don't want to always repeat what the show's about and go into the themes and everything like that. Just listen and listen back, revisit. I would love to know what you think about the show as well. Older episodes leading up to this new one. We're about to have our 30th episode. That's a celebration to have, but we'll wait. I think on the 25th episode we kind of celebrated, so we're gonna go like every 25 episodes. The next one we'll do a big one on will be the 50th episode. But just being at 30 very soon, it means a lot to me, and I hope it means something to you all, because we're all still here doing this together. Y'all are listening to me, and I'm still here speaking with you. We're surviving. We've been through a lot in the past 30 episodes, or 29 so far, and a lot of movement. The Who and How Club has made a lot of big moves in such a short period of time, and we got more moves coming. So welcome back, episode 29. Just a few updates quickly. My music video for 2019 Flow is still out, still gaining some views. But that was just something that I had to get out of the way. You know what I'm saying? I had a song in the can, in the files, in the archives, and I wanted to just, put it out there and record a little something, get my groove back into like performing for the camera and just doing things artistically, because I was sort of at a standstill with certain things. I wasn't feeling inspired or anything like that. I am definitely inspired now. And I'm working on new music, as I mentioned before, and we got some new stuff coming out. We're actually going to be shooting a new music video this upcoming weekend. So keep a lookout for more announcements with me and music. Again, with this whole COVID thing, I'm getting auditions again now. Like I'm being able to go out there and, pursue the things that I've always wanted to pursue or was pursuing before COVID hit. So we're getting back to regular programming, folks. I really hope that some of you folks use that downtime that we had during this COVID period very wisely. It was a time to use so that we rebuilt, we rebuilt ourselves, our brains, our hearts, our souls, we meditated a bit, we spent some time with ourselves, we wrote some things down and, put some things on our vision board for when things do get normal and things that we want to do for ourselves, and pursue. I hope that you use that time wisely and to do things like that and to spend time with people that you might have not been able to spend time with prior to. I know that it was hard to see people, especially relatives who, don't live in your household, but, you could spend time in different ways. I know a lot of family, I've seen online and friends of mine who connected with their families over Zoom and had these grand Zoom meetings, which was pretty dope, like these family meetings over Zoom. So shout out to all of y'all and everyone still surviving and who survived during this pandemic and who is continuing to survive. We also want to send a quick shout out to those who have passed away. You are in a better place, believe it or not. I know it's hard to say, especially for those who are still here grieving and wishing you were here. But we trust the universe and we trust that those souls that have left us are in a better place, greater place than here especially. So shout out to all of you. And yeah, some more updates. Arys, me, I'm just living. I've been relaxing and living, getting back to who I am as a person, as a being. You know what I mean? Because it's been a long journey. The past 6-7 months, It's just been crazy in my life. So lately I've just been living and just accepting things and trusting the process, trusting the universe's and the God's process on what's supposed to happen in my life. And I'm realizing that the moment I let go and stop trying to control things really work out the way that they're supposed to. So I promote that, and I'm going to try to, encourage all of you listeners to do the exact same thing. Just let go. Just take a break, Stop trying to control everything. Stop trying to be so rigid on everything going on in your life. Just breathe. Just let go and let, whatever happen. And I think you'll find that things go a bit more smoothly when you're just trusting the process. I do have a new position in the field that I'm in. For those who know or who don't know, I am in social services. So I'm pretty much 1 month in and change into my new position, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot, things that I never thought that I would learn. I'm being exposed to a lot, and I'm grateful for that. For those who know me, they know that I don't run away from a challenge. And I believe any challenge is a healthy challenge. And I'm definitely being challenged at this new position, but in a healthy way. And I'm also gaining from these challenges. So I'm really grateful that I've been blessed with this new position. And, one day I'll delve more into it. Baby boy Apollo is still growing. He's 8 months old. And he's getting smarter and smarter by the day, by the week. And he's listening more to me. He's not as rebellious as he was a couple months ago. So he's growing really fast. For those who don't know, Apollo is my puppy, who is a Basenji, and I got him back in February. So, yeah, our relationship and our bond is growing, and I'm really happy that I've been blessed to have such a unique dog, puppy, pet, companion, friend. And to some, he's my son. I'm a little fur daddy. I also have a guinea pig that I'm a fur daddy to, so shout out to Goldie, who's still alive and kicking. Couple more updates. We're going to be submitting the podcast, the Who and How Club, to Amazon. Amazon just announced that they are accepting podcasts, and I don't know how this is going to roll out officially, but right now they're just taking submissions, and I think this is going to be pretty big for Amazon podcasts. Who knows where this is going to go, but a lot of the major platforms are, I see this happening with a lot of, services, having sort of like a podcast section to their portfolio. So we're going to get the Who and How Club submitted to that. I also heard that I got an update that Manscaped is looking to sponsor some podcasts. So I am currently a brand ambassador for Good Food, which is Canada's #1 meal kit. Now, this isn't a plug-in. It's just letting you know what Good Food is. So I also want to be sponsored by Manscaped. That's something that I'm going to submit something to this week. And I did submit the show to a couple of award ceremonies for podcasts. Now, we didn't get chosen or nominated for anything for the podcast awards, which is fine. The show has been submitted to the Black Podcast Awards, so I want to shout out to them. I did get a response, so the show's going through the processing stage now. And as you all know, I've mentioned this in previous episodes, we were officially selected at this year's TO Web Fest. So just having our name on the website as one of the shows being selected, and being recognized as a staple, and just being in the city and creating this thing, only 29 episodes in and a lot of movement. And that's thanks to all of you who have shown love and support to the show. So I want to say thank you to all, but I also want to pat myself on the back and pat the universe on the back, because I do believe that this is all meant to be anyway. And I can't be anything more than just grateful. So, side story, if there's anything that you want to pursue, anything that you feel that you've been awarded or gifted with, and you need to show appreciation, first off, pursue that thing that you want to pursue. Submit to that award show, that whatever. If you're a podcast, Google some podcast awards that are going on, and really shape your show, put yourself out there. Don't just create something and just stay in the shadows. You want people to see what you've created and to appreciate you want to spread the word. You want the word to spread of the thing that you've created. Even if you're not doing it for any type of notoriety, at least, show that you want to be a part of this community. I'm noticing now, even more so now, that this is a community. Us potters, this is a community, and it's great to be a part of it and to be recognized in different forms and different ways as well. Different publications, whatever, to see the title of something you created posted under a certain section of a website or a certain publication, or someone's recognizing you for your work. It's great. It's dope to be sponsored or to be an ambassador for another, set a goal for yourself and achieve, and I guarantee you can achieve it if you put your mind to it and believe in it and take the necessary steps to get there. So yeah, that's what we're doing here at the podcast. So some other updates this week. We're going to get back to the blog on the website, which is whohowclub.com. If you don't know our socials, follow at whohowclub on Instagram and Twitter. But if you go to the website, whohowclub.com, you'll see links to everything, everywhere that we're at socially, social media wise, and also any podcast. Hold on one second. Sounds like someone's yelling outside, so disregard if you can hear that. But anyway, this mic is so this mic picks up on everything, so not sure if you guys could hear that or not. What was I saying? So yeah, just go to the website and hold on one second. Sorry guys, not sure what that noise was. Anyway, yeah, go to the website and you'll see all the links where the show is, and you can listen. You can watch visual episodes on the website as well. You could look at the blog section where I do write-ups on like movie reviews, song reviews, etc. You could see some stuff like articles that I've, been featured in and stuff like that for like a certain magazine. Let's say for Preferred Magazine, my article for Grow, which was titled Grow Before You Go, is on the website as well, linking you to the Preferred Magazine site in that actual article. So we have certain sections on the website that'll benefit you to get to know how we do things and who we are as the Who and How Club and all the materials, etc., etc., etc. So this week, I'm going to be doing a new movie review. I watched a movie called 2 Minutes of Fame, and that movie features Jay Farrow, who's a comedian. A lot of comedians are in here, actually. Lunel makes an appearance. What's the guy's name? George Wallace makes an appearance. Cat Williams is sort of like the co-star as well. And I saw the preview like when this movie was initially coming out, and I'm like, it looks kind of corny, but when I watched the movie, there's an underlying message there, which is pretty dope. And I don't want to give too much away, but it really focuses on the new age and the old age folks within the what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, let's focus on the comedy space, And this is, you could use this and mirror this to like the music space at the moment, where we have a lot of new artists and then we got the old school artists, or whatever the new people consider to be old school. Like, I'm only 31, but what's old school to me? I mean, it's not that long ago, right? But to the new kids and the new artists coming up who are really, really young, they think the folks that I still listen to are like, they're like out of their, like, these young artists don't even know who they are. Some of them don't pay homage either, and don't thank those older artists who actually paved the way for them to be artists today. Not to say you have to do that, but there's just this thing of respect, especially in hip hop. So I think in the comedic world, it's very similar, and they kind of show that in the movie, how like Jay Farrow's character, who's a young guy, and he's all about the clicks and the views and stuff like that on his reviews and his comments that he makes on, the old heads and the people who he should be seeking out to and probably looking up to. He'll make comments of that let's say, Cat Williams' character, who's been in the game for a while and he's famous. He's like the Eddie Murphy in the movie, who's been around. He can't do any wrong no matter what he does, even if it's something garbage and corny. He's getting that money and he's paid his dues. But then we got Jay Farrell's character, who's a young guy, and even though he has thousands and thousands of views online and a bunch of attention, that's not translating into money. And it's just about clout chasing and, stating an opinion about somebody you don't even know. But he's getting that attention, and eventually their paths meet. And it's just good back and forth. It kind of puts things into perspective. So I hope that younger artists watching that movie could learn a little bit of something. And the artists who have been around longer as well can learn something, because it goes two way. I think both people need to pay homage and respect each other, and both sides can learn from one another. It's just like an older person and a young person. I feel like sometimes when older people get older, when people get older or become older, everyone has a birthday, right? Everyone has a birthday. But there's this thing that happens to adults, like when they get to a certain age, it's as if they forget that they were young at one point. You know what I mean? Like it's like they can't relate to the younger folks. They question the younger folks. They're like, they start to compare themselves as if they were never kids. And then the younger people, the younger generation, they think that they're never going to get to that age or that stage of life. So it's like this disconnect, as if no one will ever grow or no one has ever been young before, or I don't know. But the movie touches on those things, and I think respecting your elders and the leaders of the game, especially those who have paved the way for you to do what you do, I think that's important. I pay homage to the podcasters prior to me, or the ones that I look up to and listen to before I even started my own show, like the Bill Burrs. I like a lot of comedic podcasts. I like my comedians. I love stand-up comedy. I always had dreams of being a comic myself. I don't know if I'm funny. Women that I get with, they say that I'm funny. But I don't know if performing that funny would translate the same. You know what I'm saying? I have a good sense of humor, dry sense of humor at times, crude sense of humor. But yeah, I always just envision myself on the stage. So I listen to the comedians. Sorry. I listen to Bill Burr. I listen to Godfrey. I listen to Conan's podcast, obviously. I listen to TK Kirkland's show. I listen to The Brilliant Idiots. I listen to Oprah's Sunday, Soul Sundays, Soul Conversations. What else do I listen to? I listen to Dean Blundell's podcast. I listen to Mark Maron's podcast, What the Fudge. What else? Yeah, there's a bunch. I listen to T.I.'s Expeditiously. I think that's a dope podcast that you all should check out. I listen to the Joe Budden podcast, and those guys, they're not comedians, but that show can be very hilarious at times. So yeah, just look out for that blog post. It'll be coming, movie review to watch or not to watch. That'll be this upcoming Sunday. This week I have no major stories of the week. I wanted to just jump into the crux of this episode and what we're going to be focusing on today, because today is part 3 of the Make Room for New series. Now, for those who have been following it, the last 2 episodes we've been focusing on making room for new. Last episode we had baby girl K on the show. Call her KK. She's a friend of mine. We collaborate. We work together. She was actually in the 2019 Flow music video. By the way, Go on YouTube, type in my name, Arys Dejan, or you could look up Only One Arys on all social media platforms and watch that video, and then you could see who I'm speaking about. So that was Kay. Kay was on last episode, episode 28, Make Room for New Part 2, and she was a part of the conversation. Now, we didn't get to know Kay that much. I had her sort of like a little mini guest, and just to add to the conversation, and her and I debated about a few things, but I listened back to the episode and I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was a dope balance, and she let me do my thing, which is pretty cool. But we spoke about what making room for new looks like, you know what I mean, to each person, and how we operate under that sort of theme. So in Make Room for New Part 1, what we did was, I do want you to go back and listen to the episode, but just to bring you up to speed, we made a list. We made a list of things that we wanted to let go of. We sat with ourselves. We focused on those things that we wanted to let go of, and I was very explicit in expressing how it's not just a feeling that you need to let go of before making room for new. It could be an object in your house. It could be an individual. It could be a past behavior. It could just mean, it can mean so much. Something that's old. When you think of something that's old, look around your apartment, look around your house. Find something old, what you would consider old. Something from a past life, let's say, a past relationship, something you've been holding on to, let's just say. It could be a piece of clothing, anything, something that you've written in the past, like a piece of poetry, and you're like, yo, what was I on? Maybe you need to let go of that, get rid of that energy and those thoughts and those feelings that you had at that time, because you feel and think very differently today versus where you were 2-3 months ago, 2 years ago even. So in part 1, what we do is that we make a list. We think of the things that we want to let go of, and we make a list of those things, because we cannot make room for new if we still have old things just lingering over our heads, in our hearts, around our bodies, in our environments. And we're talking about the things that really deserve to be let go of. I'm not talking about just because you know someone for 20 years, it's time to get rid of them. No, has that relationship been healthy? I want you to think about that, because if it's been unhealthy and you're sick of it, that's something you should let go of, 20 years or not. So these are the things I want us to think of, you know what I mean? Or wanted us to think of, because that was part 1. If you missed it, go back and you could still do this process with us, because we got one more step after part 3. Part 2 now, what you do with that list is that you sit with that list for a little bit. You sort of focus on that list and you meditate on that list, those things that you're letting go of. You think about it. You take some time and you sort of revisit those things. Let's say it's something on your list that you're letting go of. Let's say it is a past behavior. Let's say you used to be so stubborn, or you used to be a cheater, and you don't want to cheat anymore. You want to be a good, let's say, person for your next relationship. You want to be ready for that as well, but you got to let go of your cheating ways. You might have cheated on someone in your past, whether you're a girl or you're a guy, and you're like, you know what, it's time for me to change that. But you got to think about those things, those mistakes you made, that your old ways. You can't things just can't disappear at the snap of a finger. You got to make a list, and you got to sit with those things, feel it in your heart, revisit those moments of your life. Ask yourself why you did those things. What made you do those things? And am I really ready to let this go? It is on the paper, right? You wrote it down, so you must be ready. But you got to prepare yourself to let that thing go, because you won't be doing that anymore. You won't be holding on to things anymore. You're going to have to get your mind and your heart and your soul and your spirit very ready. Now, I can't teach you how to meditate now. That's something you're going to have to research yourself, especially for those who haven't meditated ever. I want you to look that up. Do some homework with that if you're a person that's never experienced that. For me, how I meditate is I sit down in silence. I just think, and I think. Sometimes my eyes are open. Sometimes my eyes are closed. Sometimes I'll lie down and I'll meditate, and I might fall asleep, but I go somewhere, I visit somewhere in my mind. I might dream, about the things that I'm meditating on or thinking about right before I do fall asleep. And then I wake up, but in a way where it's like, it's an awakening, not like, oh, I slept 8 hours and now it's time to get up. It's like a meditation sleep, if that makes any type of sense to you. And then I wake up and it's like I feel lighter and clearer. My mind is clearer because I'm letting that thing go as I'm asleep in my mind. You know what I mean? But look up ways to meditate. Some people, they burn some sage. They set the tone in their environment. They'll burn some Palo Santo to bless themselves. They'll burn some incense, you know what I mean? And they'll bless the house. And they'll say some words out loud, and they'll walk around to spread vibe, you know what I mean? So you have options. In fact, meditating for you could just be sitting down and rereading the list over and over again, just so you get familiar with the things that you're about to let go of and never see again. Which brings us to part 3. Now, part 3 is sort of like a 1/2-parter, because after you do part 1 of part 3, you're going to have to come back and conduct part 2. Because what we need to do, the part that happens really fast is the implementation. Or, you know what I mean? Of the new things that you want to implement into your life. So let's focus on part 1. Now that you've written your list, you've but sort of meditated. We don't want to manifest those things or rehash those things that you're letting go of. You're letting go of them for a reason. So you're just meditating on them and just, embracing them for one last time and acknowledging where you've come from so that you could make room for new. So you've written your list down, you've meditated, you've revisited, you've, constructively picked things apart in your mind and your heart and your soul on where you've come from. Now, I want you to find maybe some sort of like bowl, some sort of tin bowl even. Just anything that you could, set a little fire to and it won't destroy. It won't get destroyed or anything like that. Because what you're going to do, you're going to take that list now and you're going to find that bowl, whatever you're going to use. You're going to take that list, you're going to rip that list up. You're going to put it in the bowl and you're going to take that bowl outside of your house or your apartment. You're going to find some nature. Somewhere that is just like a field where it's just you in that field. And what you're going to do is you're going to set fire to that list. You're going to set that list in flames. And you're going to watch it burn to ashes as you sit under the moon. Or under the sun, if you choose to do it in the day. I prefer to do things like this at night. Because I feel like the moon plays a big part, There are a lot of moon rituals that a person can do as well, if you're into that stuff. So for me, the moon plays an important part, I'm like a wolf howling at the moon, crying, letting them know that I'm ready, letting the moon know that I'm ready to move forward. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to look at your calendar to see when the next full moon is, because it would represent much more doing this under, and you're gonna have to do the research on that stuff too. I'm not really a preachy guy. I don't want to put what I do out there too much and for you to do exactly what I do. You could find your own unique ways, but I'm just giving you the foundation of things when it comes to making room for new, because I've done this and it works. So like I said, you're gonna take that list and you're gonna set fire to it, set it on flames. And you're going to watch it burn to ashes as you let your past feelings, your past resentment, your past regrets, your past relationships, your past hardships, family ships that are unhealthy, past friendships, unhealthy objects, possessions, things that have a certain energy attached to it. You're letting those things go. Now, you don't need to burn those objects. Writing those things down on the list is enough. What you need to do is go back to those objects after burning everything and throw those things out. Then you cleanse your place. But that's up to you. But regardless, I would definitely suggest that you do get rid of those things. If there are objects on your list that you're burning, you should get rid of them. Get rid of them before you burn the list, in fact. Now, after you've burnt your list and things are a bit clearer, you feel a bit lighter, you're going to have to come right back to your notepad or your book or your diary, whatever, and you're going to have to make a new list right away while it's still fresh in your brain. And you're going to write down the things that you want to implement into your life now. Remember, we're making room for new. So the things you're about to write down now, they're new things. They're new ways of thinking. There are new ways of feeling, new types of people in your life, new types of relationships you see yourself having, healthier relationships with the people who are dear to you. Maybe there are some missions or some goals that you want to accomplish. You got to write those down. Write them down. You just let go of your past. You just made room for new. So now you're going to go and write that new down right away. Whatever new means to you, you're going to write it down. And that's what part 3 represents. That's the process. So you write down the old stuff. You revisit those old things. You meditate on those old things. You work yourself up to releasing and letting go of those things. You burn those old things. You watch them burn to ashes as they float in the air, flow away from you, and you dump them. You dump them. You clean that bowl out. Bring it back. Put it in its rightful place. You get your pad back out. You get your diary out. And you start making a new list. The new list is what we're calling it. So that's the part 3 process, all right? I hope that you're following this process along with me. I've done this before, but I'm doing it again actually as we speak because there are some things that I've had to let go of. Now, last episode, I shared some things about things that I'm letting go, and Kay and I sort of debated on forgiveness, for an example, and other things like that. So go listen to that episode. I think you'll learn a lot. Listening back to it, I learned a lot about myself and about Kay and about life. But I'm still, I'm doing this thing with you guys. We're doing this together as a club. I'm going to be writing some new things down tonight. And then, until part 4, which is the last process of making room for new. We're just going to be doing this. So write your new list down tonight. If there's something that you want to share with me in the club, email whohowclub@gmail.com or touch base with me on Instagram @whohowclub, or even just on my personal stuff @only1arys, ONLY, the number 1 ARYS, and talk to me about your process and this process that we're all on together, this journey. I would love to get your feedback and to know, how you're feeling about it and what this process has meant to you. With that said, that's part 1, part 2, and part 3 in the can. Next episode, we'll focus on part 4, and lucky for us, it'll be our 30th episode. So it'll be a great way to celebrate, and I'm going to bring a special guest onto the show to talk about making room for new and our last steps in doing so and doing that. So I'm really excited for all of y'all to just, be on this journey with me and progress in your life, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. It's our time. All right, this week's pet peeve of the week. This is a segment of the show, To the Who and How Club, where I share one of my pet peeves. And I think this week's pet peeve would be, people who get upset at you for not giving them what they want. Let me repeat that again. Not sure if I said it right, but let me repeat that again. My biggest pet peeve is when people get upset at you for you not giving them what they want. Like they throw a little tantrum, like a little brat. People are always gonna expect things of you. Sometimes those things that they expect of you, you probably can't give them. In fact, there are gonna be times where you probably could give them what they're expecting of you, but you're not ready. Or maybe they're not the person that you want to give those things to. You know what I mean? And that's okay. We can't blame ourselves for that. We can't blame them either. It's a vibe of acceptance that we all got to be on. But my pet peeve is when someone gets upset at you for that. Like, it's not my fault. Things aren't meant to be the way you expect them to be. You cannot make me conform to what you want or what you expect of me or what you see of me. I am living my life. I am my own being. So are you. I think having expectations on people and then getting upset at them when they don't meet those expectations is very bad. Now, I know it's bad because I used to be one of those people. Anytime I speak to you folks, listeners, boys and girls, women and men, I'm speaking from experience. I'm not just talking out of my ass. I'm really sharing and speaking from experience. I do feel like there are times where I know what good looks like because I've experienced bad. And I have so much self-awareness that I'm aware of how I used to be even and what the opposite of how I used to be looks like. So I know how I used to be. I know that I used to have expectations on people as well. And I used to get upset at them when they didn't meet them. But then at some point I realized, you know what, that's not the right way to be. But now in my life, now that I've closed that chapter, that way of being, that type of behavior, it happens to me now. I'm getting that same energy where I just can't meet the expectations of some people because they want things from me. They expect things from me. On top of that, I feel like I'm already giving so much of myself, but they expect more. Some people want your blood and your soul, but you can't, I don't want to use the term pigeonhole, but is the term wear yourself thin? I don't know what the term is. You know what I mean. But, you can't give your all and put all your eggs in one basket. I think you could be a little bit for everybody. But the majority of what you can be, you have to be that for yourself. You come first. You know what your capabilities are, what your capacities are. And don't let anybody try to conform you or to push you into things that you're not comfortable doing or being. Nothing's wrong with that. But also, going back to the pet peeve itself, don't get upset at somebody who can't meet your expectations. It's not their fault. There are 7-something billion people on this planet. If one person can't give you what you're expecting of them, I'm sure you could find someone else who will be able to meet those expectations eventually. But to have expectations on people, especially those types of expectations that person can't meet or isn't ready to meet for you, don't get upset at that. Take it as a lesson. Look at it through a different lens that maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a reason why you're being disappointed right now. Maybe there's something that you need to learn. Maybe it's just not the right person to expect something from. Maybe you having expectations just isn't right. Enjoy whatever you share with that individual. Some people, when they do this, they ruin great things that are already in place and in motion because they are expecting even more out of a situation. But I don't think that's right. Take it from me. I know. Anyway, that's my pet peeve. If you guys want to share a pet peeve of yours, please touch base with me. I'd love to hear it, and I'll share it. Other than that, I think that's it. I did get a message from Jay. Jay submitted an email, and she wrote something really deep. Now, I don't want to take away from what she shared because this episode has a lot of stuff in it. And I don't want to take away from the stuff that we've spoken about, and I don't want to take away from Jay's email. Excuse me, so sorry. I don't know what I'm on tonight. I think I'm kind of tired, and that's why I have no manners. So I apologize for burping in y'all ears, but forgive me. If you don't remember Jay was actually on our Mother's Day episode, and we spoke about a lot of deep stuff, and she shared some really dope insight. Go back and listen to our Mother's Day episode. I thought that was one of my favorite episodes, to be honest. But anyways, Jay emailed me, emailed the club, and just sent sort of like a message. So I'm gonna share that on the last day of our Make Room for New series, and give her those flowers while she could smell them, because I read what she wrote, and I think everyone would benefit from hearing it. It's nothing crazy long or anything like that, but just some really good words and she's speaking from her perspective as well. And yeah, it'll be nice to hear what someone, what someone has shared with the club. So, with that said, part 3 of Make Room for New series, the Make Room for New series is done. And I want to thank you all for listening in. Once again, I am the Who and How Club. You are the Who and How Club. We are the Who's and How's of the world. And without you, without me, there is no we. So please remember that. Be safe. I've been your host, Arys Dejan. And remember, part 1, phase 1, session 1, process 1, however you want to label it. Make a list of the things you want to let go of. Part 2, meditate on those things that you want to let go of. Revisit. Focus. Cleanse yourself from those things. Shed your skin from those things. Part 3, point 1, burn those things. Let it burn. And part 3.2 is start writing those new things that you want to implement. Implement. And we're going to talk next week for part 4 and the final phase of Make Room for New. I hope you guys have a great week, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Who and How Club. I am Arys Dejan, and I'm signing out. 1.